All right, the Democrats' reconciliation bill, the budget bill, Build Back Better bill, it might total $1.75 trillion. I don't know. There's a lot of spending gimmicks in there, but it's still stuffed with welfare, not workfare, job-killing tax hikes, guaranteed price increases for gasoline and home heating, because the greenies want to destroy fossil fuels. Not good. Joining me now to discuss our saviors. That's right, I'm calling them America's saviors. Steve Forbes, chairman and editor-in-chief of Forbes Media. Art Laffer is former economic advisor to President Ronald Reagan. And Steve Moore of the Committee to Unleash Prosperity Hotline, and many other things that are good and grand. Steve Forbes, I want to begin with you. I don't know if you've seen outlines of this new text that they're putting out, this so-called framework. A lot of bad things were pulled out because of Manchin and Sinema, but then it looks to me like a lot of bad things have been put back in. But I wanted to get your take. What do you think you see from this new round?
What they've done is they've kept some entitlements in there. You take the child credit. They only have 1 year on it because they know there's no way next year, an election year, you're going to let that expire. Two other programs, pre-K and child care, which will be boons to the unions rather than helping the kids. There they put 6 years. Why 6 years? To help build up constituencies, to make sure they aren't allowed to expire. So you see what they're doing on health care, expanding the government's footprint there. So this is a real victory for the far left. And I hope, though, that they don't see that and that they will end up killing both bills. But right now, if you'd said this a year ago, that we're going to be hit with this, you'd say this is going to be bad for now and for the future budgeting, because those numbers are going to explode. Yeah,
these top-line numbers, $1.75 trillion, is really a bunch of phony baloney. Arthur Laffer, what does this kind of stuff mean for the economy as you see it?
Well, if it gets through and it gets done, it will do a lot of damage. Number one, there are huge income effects of this type of bill, which will convince people not to work, especially low-income workers. They'll leave the thing. That also, the income effect will mean that you'll have a withdrawal of assets from the marketplace, and all these prices will be bid up substantially. I mean, if you tax people who work and pay people who don't work, Larry, you're going to get a real problem. And all of this stuff, the way it's being done, reminds me of a Charlie Chaplin fire drill. Everyone's screaming, running around asking anyone. I just asked the cab driver. He's got a great idea for new taxes. These guys are unprofessional, unprepared, and really just a shame on the American political system. And it should be stopped right now and replaced by something serious, by also withdrawing all these policies once they get into place, if they do.
So, Steve Moore, Art's point is well taken, that this is hodgepodge, throwing stuff up against the wall, seeing what's going to stick. But there's some nasty surprises in there, or maybe I shouldn't say surprises, but as you go up the income ladder, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, you're going to pay much higher tax rates. I think I calculated the top personal tax rate will go back to nearly 50%. I'm not sure, but capital gains may be subject to the same surtaxes. In addition to going from 20 to 28, they'll have to pay surtaxes. And then you have these corporate minimum taxes, Steve, which means, for example, you're not going to be able to expense or deduct capital equipment or new technologies and things of that sort. So this is pretty rough stuff.
Look, it's a terrible bill, no question about it, but I just want to sound a little note of optimism. First of all, there was no deal today. That's just flim-flam. Manchin isn't on board. Sinema isn't on board. And so this was just a theatrics today. They've got a lot of work to do to get this thing done. And I'm going to stick with my prediction. We got a 50% chance of killing this bill entirely. But we're making progress, Larry, notwithstanding all the terrible things in this bill. The death tax increase that they wanted, that is out of the bill. The paid parental leave, that's come out of the bill. The 28% corporate tax rate that they wanted out of the bill. So we are making some progress. The thing is shrinking. But I was thinking, Larry, do you remember when you and I sat down with Senator Senator Ron Johnson right before the Trump tax cut was passed, and we got that. And Johnson quite correctly said we got to get the small business tax rate. Remember, Larry,
yep,
down to below 30%. We got it down to, I think, about 29.5%. Now, why is that important? Because what Biden does in this bill is he raises the small business tax rate, because when he's talking about the rich, those are people who own small businesses. Their rate goes from 30% to 50% in this bill. Right. I mean, how is that going to create jobs? And I guarantee you one thing. I mean, Steve Forbes has been right about this for 30 years. Steve, if we had your flat tax at, 18%, we'd get more revenue at 18% than they're going to get at 50%.
So, Steve Moore, going back to Ron Johnson, they have removed the small business deduction. I mean, you're right about the top rate, and that's what the S-corps pay. You're absolutely right. But on top of that, adding insult to injury, they've taken away the deduction. The thing is, Steve Forbes, it's like, okay, you're going to spend more. The Fed is funding or financing the spending, so that stimulates demand. But you're taking incentives to work away, incentives to invest away. And as the great Art Laffer says, if you tax something more, you're going to get less of it. So they're going to raise demand, and they're going to cut back on the supply of goods and services. So that tells me this inflation is not temporary. It's going to be permanent, and it's going to knock down the economy.
Well, they're always twisting words. Transitory, which once meant, a few weeks, a few months. Now it's going to be a few years, perhaps a century. That's the new transitory, like their new normal. And so, yes. And you raise the capital gains tax to 32%, 31.8%. That hurts investment. So you're going to have the kind of stagflation, different details that we had back in the 1970s. And this is going to set the stage. We hope we are able to repeal it. And that's why we've got to get as much bad stuff out of this bill as we can, so the repair work will be more manageable when we get back in, because there's going to be a lot of repair work to do with what these people are doing now.
It's just that, Sinema said no increase in the personal tax rate or the corporate tax rate or the capital gains tax rate. But Art Laffer, through some back door or side door, what they've done is they are raising the personal tax rate and the capital gains tax rate and the corporate rate. I mean, raising, a 15% minimum tax on corporations at home and abroad. Well, what is that? That's a huge tax hike.
It sure is. And I've just got a book coming out, Larry. It'll be shortly with Gene Sinkfield and Brian Dimitrovic called Taxes Have Consequences. And what you find is that whenever you raise the highest tax rate, you cause the rich to be worse off and to shelter more. You cause the poor to be worse off. You cause the economy to be worse off, and you lose revenues. This bill, with all of its taxes, if they're not paid for, they're going to lose money. If you'll remember when the tax bill, the 2017 tax bill, paid for itself within 2 years. This will cost, just play that film backwards, and this will cost a fortune. The only thing good about this bill is it means there will never be another Democrat in the House, Senate, or White House ever again. This is the end.
Right. Wait, could you just elaborate on that for a moment?
Sure, this is a Charlie Chaplin fire drill. These people are the most unprofessional people. I wish you had that favorable, unfavorable for Biden. It looks just like that going. It's amazing. They have done everything they possibly can to ruin America and to ruin their reputations and to ruin all that they stand for. It's not a second party. This is a last-ditch effort before they jump off the cliff.
Well, there's we got something on the scoreboard here.
It's great news on that.
Biden's support crashes. All right. Actually, Trump's support is rising. It's fascinating. People yearn for the calm, placid, orderly, prosperous years of my former boss, President Donald Trump. But, Steve Moore, I'm really, in terms of the stupidity meter, I thought the retroactive unrealized capital gains tax on billionaires, it's actually 100 million or above. I thought that was the single stupidest thing I have seen in a long time. Now, Congressman Richard Neal basically doesn't want to touch it, but Senator Ron Wyden still thinks he's going to do it. What's, Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, even when they weren't rich, they're going to have to be charged backwards retroactively for this upfront tax hike. I mean, what do you make of that?
That was a trial balloon this week, and it flew like the Hindenburg. I mean, that thing just blew up. I mean, nobody liked that idea. Jeff Bezos, and I don't agree with Jeff Bezos on his politics, but he said something very wise. He said, look, they want me to give all this money to the federal government. He said, look, I built $1 trillion company. Who do you think can invest this money better, me or these politicians? And I thought, that's pretty right. Why are we taking money away from the private sector, the people who build great companies, and giving it to the political class? And when Art Laffer talked about the stupidity of this bill, I'll name another one. You mentioned this the other day on your show, Larry. We're producing, I think you said, 2 million fewer barrels of oil a day under Joe Biden. Well, do the math. Oil's selling at, $84 a barrel now. That, if my math is right, that's $165 million a day that we're not getting production here, and it's going to other countries like Russia and OPEC and Saudi Arabia. Tell me what sense that makes. Well, but all sorts of decisions like that are being made every day, and incidentally, China is not going to Glasgow. They don't care about climate change. They care about taking over the world. They're laughing behind our back, as your former boss Donald Trump would say.
So, Steve Forbes, the concept here is wealth confiscation. This is the most blatant example of an attempt at massive wealth confiscation. That's what's behind the thinking of this crazy unrealized capital gains, billionaires tax, going all the way back to the original asset value. And I'm surprised more Republicans aren't up in arms about this, or maybe they are and I'm just not hearing it.
Well, I think the idea of taking that kind of confiscation wasn't around long enough to arouse even some Republicans. But to your point, Larry, it is true. This is not about economics. This is about political control. This is about socialism. They realize in the old socialism, you don't have to confiscate companies. You don't have to take them over, steal companies and the like, as they used to do in Britain and elsewhere. The way you control an economy is through regulation, where companies can't survive without your beneficence, and also making sure if you happen to do make money, they take the money away under the guise of helping the people. So it's about political control, wealth control, and about keeping them in power, even if it impoverishes the economy. That's what sadly, this bill is about. It's power, not prosperity.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Art Laffer, give you the last word on this. If this stuff goes through, all right, the minimum taxes, 15 and 15, home and abroad, the surtax on wealthy people, even the billionaires' wealth confiscation tax. Will that basically unwind the Trump tax cuts, or might the Trump tax cuts still have a shelf life left?
Well, that will unwind them, Larry. I mean, it really will. What they've done with all these taxes and everything is just disastrous. They have not specifically unwound the Trump ones yet, but the Trump ones apply in an environment. But that's the good news is here that if they do this stuff, they'll be replaced, and then we'll take care of them. It reminds me very much of 1958, 1959, when you were just born. And we had then the Kennedy Revolution to respond with Eisenhower. We then had the 79 when we had Jimmy Carter, if you remember all of that stuff, and it led to Ronald Reagan. Without Jimmy Carter, there wouldn't have been a Ronald Reagan. Yeah. And without Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden, goodness knows what it's going to be, but it's going to be spectacular what's going to follow this.
Arthur, the reason we're going to win on this is because Glenn Youngkin is going to win the Virginia governor's race on Tuesday, and when he does that, the Democrats are going to run for the high grass. I still think, Larry, I'm with you. Save the country, kill the bill.
Yeah, save America, kill the bill.
From your lips to God's ears.
Well, we're
from your lips to God's ears, Steve.
Steve Moore is right, but I think we are gaining on it. The Democrats are still in a circular firing squad. It's just a pity, though, fellas. The Trump tax cuts and his deregulation program and his energy program delivered a terrific economy, prosperous economy, low unemployment, big jobs, family incomes before the pandemic, and when we reopened, during and after the pandemic. He really did it twice in the space of 4 years. He may never get credit for it. And these guys want to reverse it. So they reverse the tax cuts, they'll reverse the economic prosperity. That's the way I see it. Just real simple.
Exactly.
Steve Forbes, Art Laffer, Steve Moore, our saviors, my savior. Thank you, gentlemen. You're all terrific.